Hello, everybody. Howdy-doo-dah. Today, I wanted to talk about all of the impeachment stuff, the Joe Biden stuff, everything that's been going on with that delicious story. And I've got a bunch. I've been taking notes over the past couple days. I did an interview yesterday with James Gilliland. Hi guys, and it's going to air tonight at 8 o'clock Pacific, so in just about 3 hours, and it'll be on the ECETI Stargate official YouTube channel. So I'm going to be over there at 8 o'clock chatting if you guys want to come chat with me also over there. So we did that interview yesterday, and I forgot to put the link. Sorry guys. Hi everybody. But anyway, we recorded that yesterday, and we were really going to talk a lot about the impeachment stuff, and we ended up talking about a million things. So I had all of these notes, and I was like, well, I might as well go live and just tell y'all about it, because there's just lots, and it's very interesting. So bear with me, because my notes are kind of all over the place when I was making them. So some of this is kind of out of order, but as you guys know, on Tuesday, Nancy Pelosi basically announced that they would be launching an official impeachment inquiry into the president. And it is all revolving around this whistleblower who is not really a whistleblower. We're gonna get into that. And they were basically accusing him of trying to strong arm the new Ukrainian president into basically saying that he was going to withhold funds from them unless he gave them dirt on Joe Biden, which did not happen. So they came out with all of this. They weren't even going off of this testimony or the transcript or anything yet. They just kind of came out of the gate and said that they were going to start this impeachment inquiry. And then the next day, the White House releases the transcript for the phone call. So we all get to read it now. And if you haven't read it yet, I suggest you read it. It's only a couple pages long. And especially if you follow Q, I felt like it was very interesting from that standpoint, from the perspective of Q, because the Ukrainian president, his name is Vladimir, Zelensky. He says a couple really interesting things. One is that in his own words, he says, we are trying to drain the swamp over here. And he talks about how they're looking at Donald Trump as a teacher and all of this stuff. And if you follow Q, you are paying attention to the fact that this isn't just about the United States. This is happening worldwide, and we're seeing it. Country after country is getting rid of their old, deeply connected, we're gonna say. I'm always gonna dance around the terms here, even though YouTube hates me and they demonetize everything I do anyway. It doesn't matter. And replacing their leaders with basically patriots, basically people that want the sovereignty of their own countries. So that's what this new president for the Ukraine is. I think the old guy was dirty. This new guy is a lot better. And we're seeing a switching of the old guard in a lot of different places, including the Ukraine. So we've, in this phone call, President Trump was basically calling him to congratulate him on winning the presidency, and the conversation is very benign, except for a few little interesting points. But what it doesn't have is what the Democrats say that it has, and it has no quid pro quo. There's nothing in it where President Trump even hints that he's going to hold funds from the Ukraine whatever. The Ukrainian president says on his own that they want to investigate Biden and Biden's son and this company. We're going to go into that. Donald Trump does say, I would like you to do us a favor, and the mainstream media ran with that, making it sound like the favor that he was talking about was looking into Biden. It wasn't. His favor was asking them to look into the 2016 election and any possible interference there, which is what we're supposed to be looking into, right? We're supposed to be making sure that that didn't happen. So the phone call is totally clean. And it's funny because I don't think that they were prepared for him to release the transcript right away. So then the whistleblower testimony comes out after the transcript, after we've all had a chance to read it. And even though Adam Schiff sat there in Congress and read this like fan fiction, it wasn't even reality. It was, he read this thing, thank you, C-Face. He read this thing that literally had no basis in reality. They have gone past hoping that they can get us to read between the lines and see things that aren't there. They know that we're not going to fall for that anymore, and they know that, especially in this phone call, there was no misconstruing it. So they couldn't allow us, or even how should we put this? Even the ones that are more likely to fall for it, they couldn't even trust that they would fall for it this time. He had to actually give them a false narrative. And they know that this works. I brought this up also when I talked to James, but I remember when I had actual friends who are smart people who genuinely believed that Sarah Palin said that she could see Russia from her house. If you guys remember that, because that was a parody that they ran on SNL. It was Tina Fey, and what she had said in reality was that they were talking about relations with Russia, and she was saying, being from being from Alaska, we're actually quite close to Russia, and from parts of Alaska you can actually see Russia, which is true. There are, from places in Alaska you can actually see Russia. But SNL ran it as, I can see Russia from my house. And people literally believed that she said that. Intelligent, smart people still got confused that that wasn't what she actually said. So they know that this kind of stuff works. I put a link below to him. I think what I called it was something about his fan fiction, Adam Schiff's whatever. So you guys can find the link to it below. Anyway, so although even with him coming out and saying all that, now we've got the whistleblower testimony. The whistleblower testimony is a complete nothing burger. First of all, every bit of it is either second or third hand information. Nothing in it. The whistleblower says himself that he was not there. He did not witness any of this firsthand. So this is all just, hearsay, gossip, whatever. Interestingly enough, I read this. Let me see if I can find my note on this. Okay, so according to the ICWSP, which is the Intelligence Community Whistleblower Protection Act, so this was being circulated kind of right after the whistleblower testimony was released. And this is an actual quote from the form, the official form. It says, in order to find an urgent concern credible, the ICIG must be in possession of reliable first-hand information. The ICIG cannot transmit information via the ICWPA based on an employee's second-hand knowledge of wrongdoing. If you think that wrongdoing took place but can provide nothing more than secondhand or unsubstantiated assertions, ICIG will not be able to process the complaint or information for submission and an ICWPA. Okay, but very conveniently enough, a couple days, let me find this, basically they just changed the rules right before the complaint came out. So the complaint was submitted on August 12th and would never have been able to be submitted per what I just read if it weren't for this last minute change that they just made. So between, actually, the internal properties of the document, I put a link below, and people that know how to do things with computers, which is not me, know how to find this stuff. but I will say that on the bottom of the document, it says that it was revised this month, or I'm sorry, last month in August. So apparently though, the internal properties of the document itself, if you know how to find that stuff, say that the document was uploaded on September 24th, so just the other day, at 4:25 p.m. So just days before the complaint was declassified to the public and released to the public. So basically what they changed in it was that now you can have secondhand information, that now that does qualify. I mean, come on. Okay. So that's interesting. The other interesting part, we're going to jump kind of all around. The very first link that I put, because I think that this is very important, this is, Q has said that 2019 is the year of the boomerang. So they are trying to accuse Donald Trump of threatening the Ukrainian president that he's going to withhold funds from them unless he gives them dirt, or unless he gives them something he wants, which is apparently dirt on Joe Biden. Meanwhile, there is a video that I have linked. I have linked a tweet below that has the video in it, but you can find the entire video if you just go look for it. It was a video from January 23rd, 2018, and Joe Biden was speaking at the Council of Foreign Relations. And he was talking about when he was in Kyiv in 2015, I think. I have to look at that. But anyway, this is a quote from him. I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan. Oh, let me give you a little background. Hold on. Back it up. So in 2014, Joe Biden gets appointed by Obama to be the point person for the Ukraine. So basically that means that Joe Biden now leads the Obama administration's policy for the Ukraine on, energy and anti-corruption policies. So that would directly impact this company called Burisma Holdings, which was a huge Ukrainian oil and gas energy giant. A few months after Biden was appointed that position, thank you, Jeff, Deep State has been busy. Like the new hair. Oh, thanks. It's not new. It's just washed. These are my same hairs. It's so funny. I try not to say certain words and then you guys type them and I literally can't help but read because I'm that dumb. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying that, so 2014, Joe Biden is given this position with the Ukraine. Months later, that was in November of 2015. In December, back it up. That was in 2014. But a few months later, Hunter Biden was given a position at Burisma Holdings, this energy giant. And basically, he was being paid something like $83,000 a month to be a consultant for this company when he had no background on energy, gas, oil. He didn't even speak the language. He literally knew, he is not an official on this. He paled in comparison to consultants they had before as far as what he knew. And at the time, I believe the average income per month for a Ukrainian citizen was about $200 a month. So here you have Joe Biden's son making about over $80,000 a month sitting on the board for this company. Months after he had been, what's the word for it? They kicked him out of the Navy because he had cocaine in his system. He returned a rental car with a crack pipe in it. This is not exactly the kind of guy you want to be giving that kind of money to and trusting your company with. So that was very interesting. So fast forward to what I was talking about. Again, I'm all over the place here because my notes are not in order, but Joe Biden gets that position. Then his son gets the position with that company. Then in December 2015, New York Times runs an article about how Burisma Holdings and Hunter Biden are being investigated by the Ukrainian government because of tax problems and possible corruption into the company. So in 2016, Biden leveraged $1 billion from the president in order to get the prosecutor fired. So that brings us to the video. The video is him talking about that encounter. And so he says, I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee, and I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko, that was the old president of the Ukraine, that they would take action against the state prosecutor that is looking after his son, or looking into his son, and they didn't. So I said, quote, we're not going to give you $1 billion. They said, you're not the authority, you're not the president. And I said, call him. So now he's implicating Obama. I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired in 6 hours, you're not getting the money. That is literally verbatim what he said. You can go listen, you can go watch the video right now. So what they were accusing Trump of doing, Biden is sitting here in a video bragging that it is what he exactly did. And that prosecutor did get fired. John Solomon just came out, I have a link below too, with a giant document dump having to do with all of this. It's over 450 pages from a bunch of different documents. Some of them are from I believe the attorneys of Burisma Holdings. Some of them are from the Ukrainian government, yada yada. And basically he also has a new sworn affidavit from this prosecutor. What is his name? His name is Viktor Shokin. And Viktor Shokin says he was told by Poroshenko that the reason he was being fired was because he was looking into Burisma Holdings and Hunter Biden, and Joe Biden didn't like it. So that is coming from his mouth. And that's really interesting. So I recommend you read the I recommend you read all the articles that I posted below. John Solomon really is doing incredible work. He's been collecting these documents for a long time now, looking into all of this, and it's mind-boggling. It really is. So let me go through some of this. I'm going to look at some of your comments just because I know I was going off on a tangent. Extortion. Exactamundo. Hi, guys. Thank you so much. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Could you imagine the corruption if Sleepy Joe was to win the presidency? I cannot. And, you know, I really feel like these people are shooting themselves in the foot here because this is going to backfire on them hugely. And we also, okay, so in the phone call, I guess I did go over that, but it's just funny to me because these people really, I am starting to see, I know that it seems far-fetched, but, and I've been saying this for a while, kind of kidding that this is what I've been seeing, but honestly, it's getting to the point where I feel like the only explanation for all of this, the behavior of Nancy Pelosi and all of these like deep doo-doo people, is that they're hostages and that they're literally being controlled to destroy the Democratic Party and basically out all of this corruption because they couldn't have pulled a dumber move. They are just highlighting what their side has been doing. So, and it's funny too, I put a link below to a lot of this has been riding on Joe Biden. He is the front runner currently for the Democratic Party, and I believe there's been a lot of speculation it's going to come down to Biden, Warren, and Bernie Sanders, I guess. Joe Biden really probably had the best chance of all of them, even though I don't think any of them stand a chance. But there's an article that I linked down below where Wall Street Democratic donors are saying that if Elizabeth Warren is the candidate, if she's the one that makes it through, they're either going to sit it out or vote Trump. So that ain't good. That ain't good if you're on that side, if you're hoping to get Trump out of office. And that's exactly what this is. This is a coup. Nancy Pelosi even said in one of her speeches the other day, he can't win. That is exactly what this is about. They don't want to accept that people voted for this president, that the people got this president into office. They have been trying everything they can possible to take him out of office. It's never going to work. There's also a really great article down below by Brian Cates, C-A-T-E-S. He's always just completely level-headed and just very wise. I love reading his stuff. And he's got a great article about, he's got a thread. It's a thread that I have down there. But he does have an article too, where he talks about how this is not going to work. It's just going to blow up in their face. And that's what I'm seeing more and more. That's why it makes it really hard to believe that this is real life. And when Q has said you're watching a movie, I think that it's really the only explanation. It's crazy. Illumidonkey. Great pick of the UFO America friends. Oh yeah, thanks. That I sent to Edge of Wonder. Yeah, I retweeted that. I probably should have put a link below. I was really just going to focus on the impeachment stuff today. So I didn't really put much else in there, but you guys can find it. The White House tweeted it. It's this picture and it's a split screen and it's a quote from Donald Trump saying something to the effect of, you know, we'll embrace a friendship with anybody that seeks peace or whatever. And then it's an upshot of the ceiling of some room, which it makes absolutely no sense unless you're looking at it in the context of it being a UFO, because it looks exactly like a UFO. Then you've got this quote from the president that's like, we will seek peace with anybody that, or seek friendship, whatever. You guys go look at it. Very interesting. Have you seen Code Monkey's tweets regarding 8chan coming back? Oh, maybe a new name? 17chan? I haven't seen anything about a new name, but I did see Code Monkey's tweet saying that it would, the things looking hopeful, was going to be back safer than ever, and he's not going to give us a specific date, but, you know, that it would be back. My phone does this weird thing. So, yeah. We were hearing, I think, before sometime this next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. So I wouldn't bank on that. It'll be up when it's up, but I'm excited for it to come back because it's been way too long, and I feel like I'm missing out on friendships. I feel like I'm missing out on information and just the fun, the memes. Even though Twitter, I will say, has been at least a, you know, kind of an okay substitute in the meantime, just because I think a lot of the people were either on there before, joined just because that's where everybody is now, and thanks to all of the censoring of Twitter, we're all kind of isolated in our own bubble anyway, and I hardly ever see a tweet from anybody that's not, you know, tweeting about Q, tweeting pro-Trump things. So, Q withdrawals. Yeah, so I don't know if when 8chan comes up, if that means that Q will be back, if they'll be back immediately, if they maybe won't be back. We don't know. But they have said over and over again, we have more than C-Face. Thank you so much. Keep knocking walls down. Thank you so much. That we have more than we know. And so it is a good idea in this time while Q is gone and not posting. I know I've gone back and read a few of the old drops, and I do get new things from them now, and I'm seeing other people saying the same things, that they're going back and reading lots of the old drops and that they can't believe, you know, seeing all of this now in a different context after more things have happened, how much they see in the old drops that we were actually given. I said C-Face. So, Canada wants Trump to get out of office. Well, Canada has their own problems, don't they? I saw a funny tweet. It was like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Or no, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times. You must really like wearing blackface. Oh, God, he's such a moron. So, let me look Oops, I just opened something that I didn't mean to open. Oh, and now it's loading and it won't let me get off it. Cool. You have more than you know, exactly. So, what is this? I'm just going through some of my notes just to make sure I got to everything that I meant to tell you guys about. But go through those links below, because everything, even if I miss something here, it'll be in the links, because I'm under less pressure when I'm doing that. And also, I really, like I said, I really recommend reading the transcript from that call, because it was just cool. It really did feel like the communications between two guys that, I don't know, I don't want to say too much. You guys go and read it. Yeah, did that, I did that, I did that. There's also another thread that I put down below. Can Trump win if economy tanks? That's a good question. And I think a lot of this might have to do with that. If these people aren't being held hostage, and it really is that they're this stupid doing this, I think what they're trying to do by threatening impeachment is trying to get the economy to tank, but it's not going to work. And can he win if the economy tanks? Yeah, I think he could, but I don't think that's going to happen. Do you think the whistleblower was a trap set by Trump? I think that's very possible. I don't know if I mentioned this before. We know that they are CIA. The New York Times leaked a little bit of information to everyone's dismay, because we're supposed to be protecting whistleblowers, but New York Times has no scruples, and so they leaked what they could find out, which was that it was CIA. They said a few things about what their expertise was and that they were back working at the CIA. I would not be surprised, I guess I'll say. I would not be surprised if, in the grand scheme of things, when everyone comes out and takes their bow at the curtain call, that we find out that this whistleblower was actually unleashed by the Trump administration. That is how massively and beautifully it is exploding in their face, is that it would have been a very smart move on their part. Hello. The economy going bad is not a bad thing per se. Sometimes the economy needs to heal and reset itself. What we really need to do is, go back to the gold standard, which Trump does flirt with that every once in a while, talking about it. So that would be very interesting. Breaking news, check. Breaking news live on Twitter. Thank you, my friend. I am going to do that right now. You guys are probably already there because you're a lot faster than Grandma. So the account, oh my God. I really hate Twitter. Okay. Wow. I'm really sorry, you guys. Every time I try to go hit this, it jumps. Okay, thank you. Trump administration is investigating the email records of dozens of current and former senior State Department officials who sent messages to then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's private email. I'm assuming that's the one that you're talking about. Hold on. Everything's jumping around. So the account that I'm looking at on Twitter, it's called BNL News, and it's at Breaking N Live. Trump administration is investigating the email records of dozens of current and former senior State Department officials who sent messages to then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's private email. So another thing that was very interesting, I think I put a link down below. Let me look. Maybe I didn't. There was what's the name of the guy that broke the Watergate scandal? Someone will be, oh wait, the guy that broke the Watergate scandal. Now he works for CNN. He's like a regular on CNN. And he came out and said that William Barr was going to, now my chat's not working, sorry guys. No, is it? No, it's Bernstein, thank you. Carl Bernstein. Yes, so Carl Bernstein said in an interview, I don't know if it was last night or today, that Bill Barr was going to try to expose the deep, I want to say the word, that Trump had been saying had been there all along. So let me actually get that for you and give you guys the link, because that's a good, I hate my computer. Somebody made me switch my computer to having the thing like every time I use one finger to touch something, it'll open it. And that ain't cool for me because I am very touchy. Okay, not that. Here it is. Maybe I did put this link below, but anyway, dcpatriot.com. This was in a few places, but it says William Barr preparing to drop proof of, quote, deep state conspiracy. And Carl Bernstein, who earned his fame by uncovering the massive scandal involving Watergate, I'm of the opinion that he was probably handed that story, and he's been riding on that ever since. But anywho, he's got a fair amount of credibility, I guess, because of that. But since that, he's been very questionable with a lot of his things, in my opinion. He said, revealed in a CNN interview Thursday, what his sources say Barr is preparing to do. Barr is trying to deliver, and I have this, as do other reporters from other sources, to deliver evidence that perhaps this has all been a deep state conspiracy like Donald Trump alleges. So I thought that was very interesting. Oh, that was another thing. Thank you for bringing that up too, because, yeah, of course, play devil's advocate if you want. And I already forgot what I was going to say. Oh, because as people are reading through the transcripts of their phone call, they brought up a couple interesting things. One was CrowdStrike, and the other was Hillary's server and possibly being in the Ukraine. So that's very interesting. The CrowdStrike thing, if you guys will remember, they were a third-party forensics thing that the FBI used to examine the server. The FBI never physically had the server themselves, so that all is questionable, especially since they're being paid by these people. Who knows? So the fact that they never had the physical evidence themselves is not a good thing. And so I believe somebody asked Trump the other day if he believed that Hillary Clinton's 33,000 emails were in the Ukraine, and he said, yeah, they could be. Yeah, Google started CrowdStrike. Oh, another interesting thing about the whistleblower. So as I said, they were using all second and third party information. Some of the information they were using was actually mainstream media, and so and connections to BuzzFeed. And there's this thing that was called the hold on, let me find it. So the whistleblower cites the OCCRP, which is the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, and which is also linked to BuzzFeed. And people were looking at it into their donors. And since 2012, George Soros is listed as the #2 donor of that organization for most years. And some years he's listed as the #1 donor. So there you have it, folks. They can't find fault with Trump's diplomacy conduct, so they make up him being an agent and threatening people. Like, if you don't have anything true, say just be quiet. Exactly. They are grasping at straws. The FBI had the server, but they don't remember because the men in black use that special light on them that wipes their memories. Yep, that's what happened. Let me move this. Studies have proven ethnically homogenous societies have the highest rates of social. I'm like afraid to read stuff out loud now because I like just read it and then some of you guys say some pretty terrible things. So, yeah, that's a hard one, and I don't even know how to really say that. I don't think that multiculturalism is harmful. I think that there are some cultures that clash, let's say, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Give me time to think about that and I'll get back to you. Adam Schiff's staff attorneys likely wrote the whistleblower memo. Yeah, people were saying that it was highly, highly polished for a whistleblower, and that it sounded like it was at least aided by attorneys and by people within Congress. Putin said in a television interview that Russia had so many spies in Ukraine, they know everything about Hillary and the server. Yeah, oh, sorry if my mic is low. I'll try to speak up. That's the other thing too. People, when the transcript was released, of course that there are people that are so deranged with hatred that nothing is going to be good enough. And so the transcript comes out, that's not good enough. They're saying, oh, it was made up, or oh, they had time to fix it, or it's not official enough, or whatever. It doesn't matter if they had video surveillance of it. These people are not going to accept anything that doesn't make Trump look bad. But the funny thing is that that would not be the only transcript, and it certainly wouldn't be the only person listening in on the call. So the Ukraine also probably has a copy of this phone call somewhere. Never mind the fact that just the other day, as this is all unfolding, you know, while Trump is with Zelensky, they're sitting there next to each other, and Zelensky says, this was not a bad phone call. They never pressured me. What they're saying is that he was withholding money from them unless they would give dirt about Biden. He had toyed with the idea of not giving the Ukraine so much money. In his words, he's saying that he's looking around the EU and noticing these other countries that are not giving them anything. And why is it that the United States has to be the one to give the biggest aid to support, you know, when other people aren't supporting whatever? But the important thing is that there was no mention of that on the phone call, and they didn't inform the Ukraine. The Ukraine didn't even know that he was toying with that idea for I think it was a month after this phone call. So if you're trying to say he was trying to leverage somehow information out of this guy by withholding these funds, wouldn't you kind of have to bring it up to him and say, I'm not going to give you this money? You would. I'll answer my own question. Okay. Now the D's think they can get any phone call transcript they want, and if they cannot have it, they will say it's hiding something. Well, the interesting thing is now too, you know, it's not good for us. There would be a reason for the White House to withhold this transcript, and that is that any conversation that happens between the president and other foreign leaders is considered confidential and you know, is not supposed to be public. Imagine how the conversations would be going forward if every leader of every nation thought that their words were going to be broadcast to the entire U.S. public or the world. So the fact that they had to do this is kind of sad, but at the same time, I have to wonder if this is another boomerang and if it's somehow going to end up biting them in the butt, because what other presidential conversations now are we going to be able to have access to now that this precedent has been set? And I ain't talking about Trump. other presidents with other foreign leaders. What is the awakening you are going through? The awakening is basically has to do with waking up to, I would say mostly the reality of our world, kind of gaining an understanding of how much we've been lied to by just about every official avenue of information. And I'm glad you asked that, because it actually was something I was thinking about the other day when you talk about being, I hate the word woke, because that, I've already said that a million times. I hate that word because that has a completely different context to it, and I think the people that shouldn't be using it are using it, whatever. It's like this, but there's this idea that you're this one thing and you're looking down on other people that aren't awake. But just being awake does not mean you know everything now. It means that now you're finally looking for the first time. You're actually searching for the truth in a real way. And so it is a process, it's not a destination. And basically this is, the channel that I do is all about the Great Awakening, and it really is about this worldwide consciousness shift that a lot of people are out there kind of saying, whoa, I have been kind of sleepwalking through life, allowing my government, allowing my media to tell me what's going on in the world, and I've just been trusting them to do what's best for me and my life, and to give me the truth. And now I'm saying, wait a second, maybe this is my duty to take it into my own hands to understand what's true and what's not. Looking with new eyes, I like that. So, I'm just getting bits and pieces of what's going on in the chat, and it's really funny. Have to make the donuts. All right, friend. Yep, NBR News Blast readings on YouTube. Check that out. He does a great synopsis, almost daily, right, of news that's going on. So if you don't have time to watch me prattle on, or if you're not, if you're looking for something like this, but that's a lot faster, that's a good site, because it's literally just kind of the headlines, and then you can take what you're interested in and look it up. Elvish? Orcish? The hell are you guys talking about? It's about America's fighting back and working together to find the truth and expose evil. Yes, I will say that, with one exception. It's not just about America. It is about literally the world. Because we're all in the same boat, I believe. Wow, y'all are on one right now. Amazon warrior woman. The heck is going on in here? I finally watched Lord of the Rings. It was my grandmother's favorite book. That whole series, like The Hobbit, actually was my grandmother's favorite book. And so I always had been meaning to read it. And that was on my list before I got into all this. And now I'll probably never have time until the day I die. But on my flight back from Europe, it was one of the options to watch, so I watched it. And I will say that, I mean, I know that that's only the first part of it, but I don't get it. I mean, I get it. I understood, I understood the movie, but I don't understand why people think that it's so deep or whatever. And I know that it probably gets into it more. I didn't think that it was, I'm about to lose all my followers right now. But I don't know. I'll have to continue on with the series and watch the rest of them. Hi guys. In UK, hoping Trump will help us drain our swamp. Yeah, you guys have your own stuff going on too, right? And I really do think that it's getting settled kind of worldwide. We're all getting our new, whether or not they are as, it's coming in. I knew this was gonna happen. It didn't happen last time. Last time I was like 100%. my kid's gonna come in, but it didn't happen last time, so now it's gonna happen this time. Hello.
Hello. And my big cow, my big blue cow just went under the big blue couch in the playroom.
Okay, baby, I'll get it in a minute.
Duh.
Okay, thank you. Can you get out, please? Okay, go play.
Go play.
Thank you, my love. Shut the door behind you. So sorry for that commercial break. Welcome back. The Halloween costume this is going to be, he wants to be a pumpkin head or a tornado. No need to break out the vanilla ice cream. I gave him a popsicle, but apparently that didn't, they need to invent like slow melting popsicles so it could last a lot. Is that a painting of Gerard Butler? No. Yes, he is a sweetheart. He's a very nice boy. Oh, good. So it's not just me. Well, it's not like I can lock the door. No, I am not Scottish. Sounds like he's already a tornado. That is the truth. Let me go through the links that yeah, because y'all are on one right now. So we've got the Joe Biden bragging video. We've got the John Solomon document dump and his article. We've got stuff on Hunter Biden, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, one other thing that I forgot to mention, that the Democrats threatened, there were 3 Democrats, let me get their names really fast. Democrat Senators Dick Durbin, Robert Menendez, and Patrick Leahy literally did write to the Ukrainian Prosecutor General to get dirt on Trump with like threatening, whatever. There's a link down below. And there's evidence that Schiff knew about the whistleblower complaint in August and decided to stay silent about it until the opportune time. That reminds me of, who was it that got the Kavanaugh stuff before, it was Dianne Feinstein, wasn't it? And she just sat on it and then released it at her discretion. Okay, yeah. Then we've got, I went through that. We've got Adam Schiff fan fiction story time. That's the link to the video of him just completely fabricating what happened on that phone call. Oh, there's an article down below by Praying Medic, how the whistleblower complaint helps the Great Awakening. Go ahead and read that. Wall Street Democratic donors warn the party will set out or back Trump if you nominate Elizabeth Warren. There's that link below. There's a recommended thread by Brian Cates. And, oh yeah, I wanted to go over this. A recommended thread by IET. IET is one of my favorite accounts on the Twitter. And he's got this whole long, you'll see. Just go click that link and you'll see. It is a very long thread with a bunch of different topics that I recommend you go through. And if you haven't heard about these or don't know much about them, I would highly recommend looking into all of those. If you're looking for something to deep dive on, any one of those things would be a great topic. So anyway, my girl's 3 years old, love kids. Do we avoid Disney at all cost or is some okay? That's a very good question. I will tell you that when I was growing up, I was not allowed to watch any Disney movies. And because my dad thought that they were scary. And I'm glad because I didn't see Bambi. By the time I saw my very first movie, I think was what's the mermaid? The Little Mermaid. Oh my God. It was The Little Mermaid, but like going back later as an adult even and seeing Bambi or that, what was that really scary one where he's doing the, where he's like the orchestrator or whatever. Yeah, it's scary stuff. I mean, I don't have the Disney Channel. My kid doesn't watch any Disney, but I'm sure it's not all evil. But, you know, it really kind of comes down to it's hard because there aren't a whole lot of alternatives right now, but in the grand scheme of things, it is always best to support what is good rather than just kind of, I know that it's so much easier just to be like, oh, well, if it's not harmful, then, you know, all the other kids are watching it, or he's going to go to school and not, you know, everybody's gonna be talking about this movie or this TV show or whatever. I know that it's so easy to give into that, but just as much as you can, try to stay away from supporting any bit of that. Or, you know, if this stuff does go down, who knows? I'm not looking at all of this Disney stuff and going through it with a fine-tooth comb and understanding like how they are using programming or anything else, anything subliminal in any of those. So I don't know. I will say that as far as like going to Disneyland again, I'm not sure I will ever do that again. And I am a person, I used to live in Southern California, and I used to have a pass to Disneyland. I used to go like just for a couple hours, you know, multiple times a week. Sometimes I was going every day. So, thank you, Eddie. Robert E. Lee said, don't read fantasy novels or lose yourself in fiction. Plenty to do in real world. Ain't it the truth? You know, I think that we are going to see a massive overhaul if we ever get some real disclosure, and I think that we will, in the entertainment industry. And it isn't going to be because even just because it has to be that way. Nobody is going to be interested anymore in watching fiction. There's going to be far too much that is way more exciting, way more interesting, that is real. Dimensions of disclosure blew your mind about Disney. So yeah. Didn't a high-level Catholic get caught supporting Club 33? I don't know anything about that. I will say, I know Club 33 is what, like a private restaurant in Disneyland, and it's got all this questionable, you guys get it. Used to have annual passes, can't even see an ad without getting frosted. How many singer teeny boppers have come from Disney in the last 15 years? I mean, forget the last 15 years, all of the pop stars that were out in even the mid-90s started off at the Mickey Mouse Club. You know, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, basically all of the Backstreet Boys and all of NSYNC. Fergie, or no, was she? No, she was Kids Incorporated, which also has some, if you guys look up Kids Incorporated and Fergie and Jennifer Love Hewitt, there are some, that was a kind of a dark day when I started looking into that, because that was another show that I watched a bunch when I was little. Also, something else I just came across was somebody did a dive into LeVar Burton, which is unfortunate because I loved him, and I even loved him beyond Reading Rainbow, but I loved Reading Rainbow. And if you think about it, Reading Rainbow during the 80s, if you were a kid that grew up in the 80s, chances are you watched that show in school. They had some kind of thing going. I mean, imagine that. Imagine a TV show getting into the classrooms of every American child, and it's scary. So anyway, some kind of not cool connections with LeVar Burton. That Maggie chick that's the young girl that's in a bunch of pictures with Obama, and you know, there's the whole dive into her and her mother and her grandmother, and then pictures of LeVar Burton on some private island with all of these children, and then also the questionable symbolism. I mean, if you look at even the intro of Reading Rainbow, there's a ton of symbolism. The, you know, Masonic black and white checkered floors. There's a butterfly that literally leads into every single clip in the intro. So I don't know. That's something I'm gonna have to look into further. Didn't a former Mouseketeer die recently? I don't know. Yes, Edge of Wonder did the best reveal on Disney. Ben and Rob are awesome researchers and presenters. Great Awakening channel. Yes, they are awesome. Agreed. Tell us what LeVar Burton did. I don't know what he did. I don't have anything that he did. I hope he didn't do anything. but it was just more about looking into some of his connections that were questionable, and then looking into the show itself and how it was able to have access to every single child in America for a time, and how the song in it, I think there was something about the song and how the song is a trigger, and how sometimes, I don't know, if I ever find that dig again, I will definitely post it for you guys. But I only looked into it for a minute. I've been so kind of absorbed with all of this impeachment stuff. That's what I've been looking at most and reading about and interested in. So I've been coming across these little things here and there, but that's why I don't really have much more for you other than just the impeachment stuff tonight, because that's all I've been looking at. The rainbow, yes indeed. What out of everything needs to be explained to people? Everything has put off world wars for how long? The world and God just keeps buying humanity time to do right and what needs to be done. Been a few deaths lately. Look at Mouse Club and pop culture all the way back to the 50s. Yes, yes. Hello, Bovine Joni. Make your son a QAnon outfit. Kids Incorporated was a Disney show? Oh, okay. The producer of iCarly. Yeah, what's his name? The producer of iCarly was actually convicted, wasn't he? Not just alleged? Anywho. I don't understand that. But I think that's all I've got for you guys today. And thank you guys so much for being here. Oh, if you're around in 2 hours, come hang out. I already lost the link. The ECETI something. Hold on, let me look it up. Oh, ECETI Stargate official YouTube channel. They're going to be airing my interview with James that we recorded yesterday, and I'm going to be on there chatting with him or with everybody while it airs. So if you guys want to hang out a little bit more tonight, meet you over there. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye, you guys.